Right now, without thinking about it, you just took a breath. You do it about 23,000 times a day. You have done it every single day of your life. And you have almost certainly been doing it wrong. Not a little wrong. Fundamentally, structurally, mechanically wrong. In a way that is quietly reshaping your face, degrading your sleep, and making your brain work harder than it needs to. And here is the strangest part. You were not born this way. The story of how humans lost the ability to breathe correctly is not a medical story. It is an evolutionary story. It reaches back millions of years, bends through the ancient world, and lands squarely in the middle of your daily life. In your jaw, your skull, your sinuses, and your sleep. You are a mammal. Every mammal on Earth, from a mouse to a blue whale, breathes through its nose by default. The nose is not just a decorative feature on your face. It is a sophisticated air processing system that took hundreds of millions of years to evolve. When air enters through the nose, it gets filtered by tiny hairs called cilia that trap particles, bacteria, and pathogens before they reach your lungs. It gets humidified so dry air does not damage the delicate tissue deep inside your airways. It gets warmed to precisely the right temperature, and it gets mixed with nitric oxide, a molecule your sinuses produce that dilates your blood vessels, improves oxygen uptake, and kills certain viruses and bacteria on contact. Your mouth does none of this. When you breathe through your mouth, unfiltered, cold, dry air goes straight down. Pathogens ride in unchallenged. Your sinuses stop producing nitric oxide because the airflow pattern has changed. Your throat dries out. The tissue at the back of your airway becomes inflamed. And over time, if you are a child, the bones of your face begin to develop differently. Anthropologist Robert Corruccini spent decades studying human skulls from different time periods. Ancient skulls showed wide dental arches, straight teeth, open nasal passages, and forward-projecting faces. Modern skulls, including yours, show narrow dental arches, crooked teeth, small nasal cavities, and faces that have grown downward rather than forward. This is not genetics. The genes that build your face have not changed significantly in the last 1,000 years. What changed is mechanical force. Your bones are living tissue that responds to pressure, to tension, to how your tongue rests and how you breathe. In ancient humans, the tongue rested against the roof of the mouth, creating an upward force that expanded the palate outward. The jaw chewed dense, fibrous food for hours every day. That mechanical stress stimulated bone growth and built wide, strong faces with room for all 32 teeth. Then food changed. Around 10,000 years ago, agriculture replaced hunting and gathering. Food became softer. In the last few hundred years, it became dramatically softer still. Industrial milling removed fiber from grain. Baby food replaced the chewed meat that mothers once passed to infants. And with each generation of softer food, the jaw narrowed a little more. This is what researcher Weston A documented in the 1930s, traveling to isolated traditional populations. Wherever people still ate traditional food and breathed through their noses, the dental arches were wide, the teeth were straight, and the airways were open. In the same populations, wherever processed food had arrived, the next generation showed crooked teeth and narrowed jaws. It was not genetic drift. It happened in a single generation. Stanford researcher Christian Guilleminot spent 40 years studying breathing during sleep and found that a narrow jaw and crowded airway create the structural conditions for airway collapse the moment muscle tone drops at night. Your body wakes you, not fully, just enough to reopen the airway. You may never remember it, but it can happen dozens of times per hour, every hour, all night. James Nestor deliberately breathed only through his mouth for 10 days in a Stanford study. Within days, he developed snoring and sleep apnea, despite having neither before. Blood pressure rose. Mental clarity fell. 10 days of nasal breathing reversed everything. The fix is not a device. It is not a supplement. Close your mouth. Breathe through your nose. Slow down. Let the exhale be longer than the inhale. Ancient humans did not think about this. Their jaws were wide. Their airways were open. Their food required hours of hard chewing that kept their facial structure strong. You live inside a body built for a world that no longer exists. But right now, as you exhale, close your mouth. Let the next breath come in through your nose. Feel your belly expand first, then your chest. Slow it down. 23,000 times a day, your body asks you to breathe. For most of your life, you answered without thinking. Now you know what the answer is supposed to sound like.